everyone, so this video is going to be a bunch of little tips for social media and being an artist, posting on social media, and just tips I have for, growing a following, or just like little tips about posting your art and things I would do and things I would avoid. And I actually posted on YouTube asking for any questions you had, and I'm actually just going to go through the most voted on questions and answer them the best I can through this voiceover, because I figure the ones that are voted on the most are probably what people want to see most. So the first one is asking about how to make your drawings look clean, detailed, and bright when you take pictures of them. This all comes down to having even lighting, as much bright light as you can, getting a good angle of the drawing, a nice bird's eye view. I used to actually sharpen my drawings a little bit on Instagram, and I play with the settings within Instagram when I'm posting, so I try to make the whites of the paper white, so I change the warmth and the coolness of the photo. So making your paper look white can really help it look better. I put 2 lights on either side of my drawing, but I would also recommend taking your art outside to photograph it, because using natural sunlight always makes things look really, really good. And just having a good quality camera. If your phone doesn't have a very good camera on it, I would recommend using an actual camera, or I use my iPad now because it has a really nice accurate camera on it. The colors are really accurate. So, and I find when I use my iPad to take pictures, also make sure you put your phone or your camera on some sort of tripod, or try to not shake it when you take the photo, because the more still it is, the clearer your drawing will be. So make sure it's bright, easy to see, has enough contrast, and make sure that the white of the paper are actually white, so that the rest of your drawing will look natural, and take full advantage of all the little settings on Instagram when you post. This other question is a really good question, and it's basically asking how you keep from being consumed by social media, so like your numbers, so how many likes you get, your followers, and all of that, how to not worry about that so much. And honestly, I think that comes with time. I used to be so concerned with follower count, and even nowadays I'm very concerned with view count, because that's the most important thing for me, because YouTube is my main thing, and if my videos aren't getting very many views, then I try to sort of change things up or do more interesting content. But the important thing is the number of followers you have does not it doesn't correlate to your skill level. Usually people with more followers just know how to market themselves better, or they're really, really good at what they do. It's usually a combination of the two, because there's some really amazing artists that don't have very many followers. It's just because they probably don't post very often, they don't use hashtags, they don't really take advantage of certain trends. I don't necessarily do that. Like when it's fall, I don't always post a picture of fall, or when there's a trend going around, I won't necessarily I won't make something specifically for that, just because it doesn't particularly inspire me, even though making what is popular every once in a while can actually really help your numbers. But that's more for your own growth. It's not to have more numbers, it's just to get your art out there more. And if you feel like doing something to please your audience rather than something for yourself, I think it's good to have a balance between those two things. But this question was about how to not be so concerned with your follower count and all the numbers. And I really think this comes with time. You can't really teach yourself to not care about your numbers. Just know that it's important to not see that as a reflection of you or your art quality. Of course it could be, if you're a total beginner, you can't really expect to have the same amount of followers as someone who has 20 years of drawing experience. But you can market yourself. The way you market yourself plays a big role in it, and by that I mean posting regularly, posting nice clean photos, and using hashtags, and the rest of it pretty much comes down to luck. If you're just starting out growing your account, try to focus on other things rather than your follower count, because if you just ignore that and just post regularly and focus on drawing things that you actually want to draw, and try to make connections with other people within the art community, if you ignore your follower count and just focus on those things, you'll find that you'll be happier with what you're making, and people will kind of see that in your art. Your art will seem more genuine and more personal to you and more unique, so people will be more likely to follow you. And if you want to get more followers, don't think of it as, I have to have a bigger number. Think of it more I want to share my art with more people. Think of it that way. It's not so consuming if you think, oh man, I need to get 10,000 because 10,000 is such a big number. It's more like I want to share my art with other people. So the biggest motivation for sharing your art with other people should be making art that you want other people to see. I don't know if that helps. It just kind of takes time to not care so much about numbers. I've kind of gotten to that point, but also I sort of rely on YouTube as an income source, and it's hard to not care about numbers, but it's good to know that it's not a reflection of who you are or your artwork necessarily. It's just a lot of it is luck and what's popular and just algorithms. So it's important to know that's not a reflection of who you are. Someone asks, is there a right time to start posting your art? Does your current level of art matter? I don't think it matters at all. I wish I could go back in time and get my past self to post my art online a lot earlier, because I started to really improve as soon as I started posting my art, because other people would tell me what was wrong with it. I started getting used to criticism and helpful advice, and I used that to really kind of kickstarted my improvement. So I would definitely start posting, start trying to meet other people in the online art community, and you can kind of like motivate each other and like use them as inspiration to get better. So if you're a complete beginner, posting your art online can really help you improve if you're open to that sort of thing. What kind of social media is the best to post your art? How to motivate yourself to make art? I have a couple of videos on motivation. You can find them if you search like JelArts motivation, or maybe I'll link one above. But I think Instagram is it's really popular right now for posting art. There's tons of artists on Instagram. And I also see Twitter. So my personal recommendations are Instagram and Twitter. But I know a lot of people use Tumblr. Some people use Facebook. I'm not a fan of Facebook, but a lot of people are. I like YouTube for videos, but I think Instagram is probably my number one recommendation because it's just so accessible and it doesn't take long to post a photo versus making a 10-minute video. So I think Instagram is a really good choice because it's an image-based platform, so people can instantly see all your artwork next to each other, and it's just a huge art community on there. So someone asks, what's the best way to gain a following? And of course, everyone wants a following. Like, that's probably like the biggest reason why people post their art. Like, a big part of being an artist is wanting other people to see your art and wanting to be able to share it with people and get their feedback. So of course, it's always nice to have a good amount of people that are seeing your stuff. And my main advice, my really simple advice, is to try to post really clear, good photos of your art. Post things that you're proud of. Don't post things that you're ashamed to post. Even if it's a messy sketch, if you like that messy sketch, still post it. Because I find if I post something that I'm ashamed of other people seeing, then I'm less likely to post more things. So I just try to post stuff that I'm happy with, even if it's finished, really rough, really messy. I post all those kinds of things. Make sure you post at least once a week, twice a week. Try to keep it on a schedule. Don't leave people hanging for too long, and make use of hashtags, but don't use too many. I'd say like 6 to 8 hashtags, like hashtag sketchbook, artist drawing, Insta art, artists on Instagram, character design, animation, all the different tags like that. And just try to like express yourself through your art, I guess. Like usually when people follow someone, it's because they have something unique to offer. So just try to like stay true to who you are and really draw the things that you're interested in. Of course, sometimes it can be beneficial to like participate in a trend that's going around, like the draw this in your style. That's really fun, and also it was a popular thing, so that can help you grow your account a little bit. So every once in a while, participating in something like that can help you. Try to make connections with other artists, be active in the community, and comment on other people's posts. And just be very patient, because a lot of luck is involved and algorithm stuff, and if you're persistent and consistent and you're always trying to improve and trying to do your best with your art, then it should work out. There is a lot of luck involved, but just be persistent and be patient. There's so many good questions here. I feel like I've over-explained a couple of these things. Maybe I'll make another video in the future and refer to this. But I'm going to take one more, and that's, how do you cope with negative criticism? Don't you take it close to your heart? That's the question. At first, when I was younger, I found it hard to take... Well, there's a difference between like negative criticism and constructive criticism. Negative criticism is someone just going, "You suck. I hate that. That looked horrible." That's not helpful to anybody. Constructive criticism is saying things like, "Oh, the hand is a little small. I would make it a little bit bigger and perhaps give it a little more movement because it looks kind of stiff." Or you might want to darken the background in that area to make this area pop out a bit more. So it's basically telling someone what's wrong with it and telling them how they can fix it. The best way to deal with that kind of advice is to just know that it's a really good way to help you improve. And it's not a personal attack against you. The person is just genuinely wanting you to get better because they see such like potential in your art, and they're thinking, if only that part was fixed, then it would look so much better. So they only have the best intentions, and it's so helpful to get constructive criticism all the time in school. It's the only way to know how you're doing. Like, you don't want people to almost lie to you about your art. You don't want them to only point out positives, because then you'll never know how you can better yourself. If you're someone who really wants to strive for improvement, if people only tell you what they like about your art, you might not improve as quickly as if they also pointed out areas where you could improve. So just think of it as a really, really good learning opportunity. And if someone takes the time to actually point out what you could fix in your art, that's a really, really good thing. And you should be really grateful that they took a couple of moments to try to actually help you out. So that's my advice on how to handle that. It can be hard at first. It's a little bit difficult to kind of get used to that, but I've had years and years to get used to that because I've been posting my art online for so long. I'm so used to it now, so it's kind of hard for me to say like don't worry about it. It just takes time to get used to it. Oh, another really quick one. What's the best place to put a watermark that's clear to see but not annoying? I usually try to put it in a solid part of the piece, or put it in an area where your signature would go. That would be my advice. I don't know if watermarks really prevent anything. I used to use them all the time on every single thing I posted, just in case, because if someone reposts it and they don't notice your watermark, then maybe it could save you in some situations, but people can edit it out if they really wanted to. But it never hurts to put a watermark, so that's my advice for where to put it. And try to make it a little bit, decrease the opacity a little bit, so it's there if you look for it, but it's not totally obvious. Oh, there's so many good questions here. I should definitely make another video involving some of these, but I can't make this any longer. So I really hope you got some sort of useful information from this video. Hope you enjoyed seeing my little spooky bat drawings and the dinosaurs. It's fall where I live. It's the first day of fall, and I'm so excited to wear sweaters, and I'm excited for Halloween. I'm just excited for the less than 20 degrees weather where you can wear sweaters and just feel really comfortable and cozy. That's my favorite part of fall. And then, of course, when Christmas comes, that's also the best time of year. So I hope you enjoy fall, if it's fall where you are, if it's changing to a different season, or if you're not, if you're sort of on the opposite side of the seasons. I hope the weather is nice where you are. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.